Hey everybody, I hope you had a good weekend. Hopefully you're staying home and staying safe. Sorry I'm a little late tonight. I was out, I don't know if you can see how red I am. I got sunburned today when I was out handing out packets at school. You guys remember, we want you to work on those. They're optional. If you run into something that's too hard, don't worry about it, but we really want you to stay up on your schoolwork, so please try to get as much of that work done as you can. And if you have questions, send an email to your teacher or Parent Square or Class Dojo. So on to chapter 3. The title of this chapter is 30 Scalps. Within a few minutes, loud snores, well, not loud, but loud for the Indian, began to come from the teepee. But Omri, sleepy as he was himself, was not quite ready for bed. He had an experiment to do. As he had figured it out so far, the cupboard, or the key, or both together, brought plastic things to life, or if they were already alive, turned them into plastic. There were a lot of questions to be answered, though. Did it only work with plastic? Would, say, wooden or metal figures also come to life if shut up in the cupboard? How long did they have to stay in there for the magic to work? Overnight? Or did it happen right away? And another thing, what about objects? The Indian's clothes, his feather, his knife, all had become real. Was this just because they were part of the original plastic figure? If he put, well, anything like a despised plastic teepee, for instance, into the cupboard and locked the door, would that be the real thing in the morning? And what would happen to the real object if he put that in? He decided to make a double trial. He stood the plastic Indian tent on the shelf of the cupboard. Then he put in a matchbox car. Then he closed the cupboard door. He didn't lock it. He slowly counted to 10, then he opened the door. Nothing had happened. He closed the door again and this time locked it with his great-grandmother's key. He decided to give it a bit longer this time. While he was waiting, he lay down in bed. He began counting to 10 slowly. He got roughly as far as 5 before he fell asleep. He was awakened at dawn by Little Bear bawling at him. The Indian was standing outside the felt teepee on the edge of the table, his hands cupped to his mouth as if shouting across a measureless canyon. As soon as Omri's eyes opened, the Indian shouted, "Day come! Why you still sleep? Time eat, hunt, fight, make pictures." Omri leaped up. He cried, "Wait!" and almost wrenched the cupboard open. There on the shelf stood a small teepee made of real leather. Even the stitches on it were real. The poles were real, twigs tied together with a strip of hide. There's a word that we'll look up a little later. What does hide mean? The designs were real Indian symbols put on with bright dyes. The car was still a toy car made of metal, no more real than it had ever been. "It works," breathed Omri, and then he caught his breath. "Little Bear," he shouted, "it works, it works! I can make any plastic toy I like come alive, come real. It's real magic. Don't you understand? Magic!" The Indian stood calmly with folded arms, evidently disapproving of this display of excitement. "So, magic. The spirits work much magic. No need wake dead with howls." That means no need to wake up the dead because you're being so loud or yelling. Omri hastily pulled himself together. Never mind the dead, it was his parents he must take care not to wake. He picked up the new teepee and set it down beside the one he had made the night before. "Here's the good one I promised you," he said. Little Bear examined it carefully. "No good," he said at last. "What? Why not?" "Good teepee, but no good Iroquois brave. See?" He pointed to the painted symbols. "Not Iroquois signs. Algonquin. Little Bear sleep there. Iroquois spirits angry." "Oh," said Omri, kind of disappointed. Little Bear like Omri teepee, need paint, make strong pictures, Iroquois signs, please spirits. Omri's disappointment melted into intense pride. He had made a teepee that satisfied the Indian. "It's not finished," he said, "and I'll take it to school and finish it in handicraft lessons. I'll take out the pins and sew it up properly. Then, when I come home, I'll give you poster paints, and you can paint your signs." "I paint? Must have Longhouse. Teepee no good for Iroquois. Just for now, Little Bear scowled. Yes, but very short. Now eat. Yes, what do you like in the mornings? Meat, said the Indian immediately. Wouldn't you like some bread and cheese? Meat. Or corn? Or some egg? The Indian folded his arms uncompromisingly across his chest. Meat, said Omri with a sigh. Yes, well, I'll have to see what I can do. In the meantime, I think I'd better put you down on the ground. Not on ground now? No, you're above the ground. Go to the ledge and look, but don't fall. So I'm going to leave off right there. I want to show you something in the last one, and they just talked about it again right now. They were talking about an Iroquois longhouse, and I found a pretty good picture. I don't know how well this will show up, but you can kind of see that's what Indian longhouse or Iroquois longhouse looked like. I did a little homework on it, and first thing, Iroquois was a group of different Indians. They said there were 5 different tribes that they generally said were considered to be Iroquois, and they said their longhouses that they built could have up to 20 families that lived in them. So it's just basically a house that's made out of natural materials, sticks and things. And I'm going to see if I can find one more. There was a good picture of this one, which was kind of cool because it not only did it show you the house, but you can kind of see inside of it. If I turn it towards the camera right, you could see what it would look like inside. So little lesson on what they're talking about there, so you guys can kind of picture, as Indian keeps saying he wants to build a longhouse, what they're looking at. The other word that came up was hide, and it's not hide like, oh, I'm going to go hide out in the yard. An animal skin, sometimes they will call hide, or an animal hide. So if you hear that they're making things out of animal hide, it means animal skin. And the Native Americans a lot of times use those to make their houses, to make their clothing, or to build or make other things. So hope you guys have a great evening. Sorry this was a little later. Thank you to those guys that are following me right now. I'm enjoying being able to read to you, and I hope you're enjoying the stories. Talk to you soon.